Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 35 of my F1 2016 career mode, round 5 of my F1 2016 Sauber career mode, guys. If you have missed out the last 4 videos, I will leave the card linked in the top right corner, of the video, so don't forget to check it out. I would also be leaving the playlist and last episodes right at the very end of the video. If you guys are new around here as well, don't forget to subscribe for more F1 2016 career mode, as well as my F1 2010 career mode that I'm also doing at the moment. But as you can see, currently we are sat in P13 in the drivers' standings after still only those 4 points scored at Australia. It's not really gone downhill since then, but we kind of got lucky at Australia. But we're consistently, just outside the points, which is good. Like, say if we get a bit of luck, or we do quite well at a certain track, we may be able to get a couple more points down on the board. But as you can see there, doing our track acclimatization, we get purple fairly easily. And now onto our qualifying sim lap, and this was actually I really struggled with, and unfortunately I wasn't able to do it within the 3 laps there. I got the long run achievement though, which gave me 5 extra points as well. But as you can see there, Daniel Ricciardo took the pole by nearly, I think that's over a second there, which is pretty damn impressive for Ricciardo. He took the pole position out last time at Russia, but we've got Fernando Alonso in a very surprising second place there. McLaren Honda really have piled on some upgrades here, so they're looking very strong, but now coming on into qualifying, coming through the final corner. What position are we going to move up into? It's going to be up into P7 behind my teammate there, Marcus Ericsson, so we're going to have to go out for another couple more laps. Coming into the final corner once again, then we go up into P17 there, which unfortunately will not be good enough for Q3, but I also was worried about not stretching out too many sets of tyres there. So P17, a bit unfortunate, there, we just didn't have the pace. Lewis Hamilton took the provisional pole in Q1, but Kimi Räikkönen there on the medium set of tyres within the top 10, so very interesting strategy there coming out from Ferrari. But Marcus Ericsson actually got into Q2 on a last-ditch attempt there, and we would move down to P18 there, which is a bit unfortunate with Kevin Magnussen, Jolyon Palmer, Pascal Wehrlein, Bria Harriento, and I think it was Esteban Gutierrez, the only other driver there, not to make it into Q2. But here we are then, moving on then into the Spanish Grand Prix.
What does the Spanish Grand Prix have in store for us today, I wonder? I hope we see some tight wheel-to-wheel action down the main straight, circa Mansell and Senna way back in '91. Or maybe we'll have a more strategic race here on a track where overtaking can be difficult. So before the off, let's remind...
So here we are then, guys, on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. It's going to be a fairly stretched out one-stop race here today, guys. It's not going to be plain sailing. The mediums and the softs really not looking like they can go too far, hence why I've opted to go with a set of the hard tyres. We're also going to underfuel the car absolutely massively there, guys, ready for this Grand Prix. We don't want to be running any spare fuel, where this track is so high downforce. Having the car as light as we possibly can at the start of the Grand Prix will really help aid us over the long-term effects of the race. We've got Nico Hulkenberg's on a set of medium tyres just ahead of us there, so he's going for sort of a long-term game like myself in the opening stages of this Grand Prix. But having a look at what tyres my teammate was using there, he's on a set of the soft tyres that he got into Q2 on, I'm pretty certain. But here we are then on the grid for the Spanish Grand Prix. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. And away we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. We actually get off to a fairly good start there. Kvyat gets bogged down, and that costs Hulkenberg a good run, as well as Sainz getting a pretty poor run once again there. We're looking already side by side with my teammate Marcus Ericsson there. As we move down into turn 1, can we go up the inside of Carlos Sainz? Don't want to be going 3 wide there. Yes, we do. And we move up into P14, and we got my teammate just on my inside there. Sorry, Carlos Sainz, as he tries holding it around my outside through turn 3 there. But that's not going to work out, as we get caught up on Sergio Perez's gearbox there. And are we going to be able to make a move up the inside of Sergio into the next corner? My old teammate, we have a look up the inside, just pretty much parking on the apex there, just ahead of him there. And we have a look up the inside here. Are we going to be able to make the position? No, he gets absolutely incredible traction through the exit of turn 4 there, but we're having a look around his outside into turn 5 there. Button and Grosjean making a lot of contact there as well, but Sergio Perez holds on to P13 here. We're going to have another little look down the inside into turn 6 there. We make the position stick once and for all there, guys. And up into P13 we go now, as we've got Romain Grosjean as JENSON Button just fine, just up ahead of us, and hoping, maybe we might be able to capitalise from that, as Grosjean has a look up the inside. It's going to be like Russia all over again, and we're going to go up the inside of the pair of them there. Is Grosjean going to end up DNFing from this race like he did last time out? We'll have to wait and see that, guys. but we've managed to move up into P11 of the Grand Prix here, guys, and that was actually pretty damn good. Made a good opening first lap here, but as you can see now, the safety car has been deployed, and no idea what that's all about. There's obviously been a pile-up between, I think that's turn 10 and turn 11 there, so no idea what's happened with those guys, but that's made it very interesting. Obviously we're on a set of hard tyres, so obviously we need to stay and maintain track position, but coming on now to the end of lap 4, nobody opted to pit here. Obviously tyre wear just so critical around here. If we were on a set of soft tyres, we would have been tempted to go into the hards to the end of the Grand Prix, but Carlos Sainz now is at the Grand Prix, and no idea what's happened to him, but that's gonna another terrible race for Carlos Sainz there. I don't think he's actually made it to the finish of, I think he's made it to the finish of 2 races at most so far this season, and I think in both those races he had huge crashes as well. But Carlos Sainz here, as you can see, just having a look, has to park up on the ice on the side. I'm going to take it, it's an engine failure there for Carlos, and ending another torrid day out in the Toro Rosso. I'm pretty certain he's bottom of the standings at the moment, as he hasn't finished any higher than, I think, P20 currently. But there we go, then his engine just goes, nah mate, I'm good thanks, and just bails out there at the side of the track there, guys. Which is a bit unfortunate for Carlos Sainz once again here, but we're under pressure from Sergio Perez. StraightLineSpeed.com, is he going to be able to make the position stick? He's going to have a look up the inside here. Are we going to try and fight the position? He does back out of it in the end there, guys. But now coming into turn 4 here, he's going to look up the inside once again there, and he actually gets the position done there, and he seems to be able to get tremendous traction at turn 4 there. But now looking into turn 5, we're not going to be able to make the position stick, and Sergio Perez is going to inherit P11 very safely there, and we could just see how much grip the mediums has over the hard tyres at this stage. But now moving on to the end of lap 6, as we can see, we've got a few AI have already made their pit stops, but it's basically just going to be us out on the hards and a few drivers out on the mediums that are still going to be out. We're going to move on to P2 very shortly there, as Hulkenberg moves back past us. So Force India currently leading a 1-2 at this stage of the Grand Prix. They won't be able to hold on to it most likely in the final closing rounds of this race, but still Nico Hulkenberg and Sergio Perez have now made their pit stops, and now on lap 12 we make our pit stop. Moving on obviously onto a set of soft tyres, we will be theoretically the quickest car on track here, but obviously these soft tyres won't be as quick as some of the guys on the medium tyres and like the Mercedes and stuff. Also notice, guys, that how well I managed to nail the pit entrance. I thought that was pretty damn good. That was probably the best I've actually been able to do it on this game so far. But anyway, moving on to a set of soft tyres here, as we can see, we set a 2.6 second pit stop there, and we're going to come out back down in P15 there, which isn't looking particularly strong for myself. We've got Kevin Magnussen also having a look at us into turn 1, but he's not going to be able to make the position, as we go very defensive into turn 1, you know, shifting off our line, as Marcus Ericsson now is in P16, so he might be able to claw back past us. But now, as you can see, he's fast forwarding on right to the very end of the Grand Prix there, guys. Not really a lot has happened in this final stint, but we're now right on Gutierrez. As you can see, there's a huge train of cars just ahead of him that extends just into the points here, so I was hoping, you know, maybe they could have a crash or something, as they're getting all held up by the Renault. But we move up the inside of Esteban Gutierrez, but are we going to be able to get past this huge train of cars? I think it takes us up to about P8, P9 here, so hoping, you know, the Renault, say, has an engine blow up or something on these final few corners, and they all get held up behind it. But someone's having a look round, up his inside, that's the Williams. I think it's a Felipe Massa at this stage, but he's just going to be able to get a plain sailing move there on the Renault there, which really isn't helping us. But we're going to get right on the back of this train here, guys, coming into the final few corners of the Grand Prix. Jenson Button has won the race there, guys. Not really too sure what that's all about. We'll have to wait and see how that's happened. But right on the back of this train, are we going to be able to get a move on Max Verstappen? Unfortunately not, but Jenson Button there, guys, has won the Spanish Grand Prix. No idea how he's been able to do that. Obviously just got very lucky on the tyre strategy there, guys. So that is an absolutely incredible win for Jenson. We once again just miss out on the points there, guys, but next to it is Monaco, and I'm actually feeling quite confident for Monaco after AOR, guys, this year. I've really been able to get my consistency in around there, so hoping, you know, that's hopefully a good track for myself. But I just cannot get over the fact that Jenson Button has won this Grand Prix. The game's obviously trying to load, you know, an animation for him, because they don't expect him to be anywhere near the podium absolutely ever. But yeah, guys, so that was actually a pretty damn incredible race at the top there. It wasn't particularly good for myself, but Eric Boulier very happy there with the result in the end. You don't see that very often in this career. McLaren Honda doing well, but there is the man, Jenson Button, breaks the Mercedes win streak there. As you can see, we've only got one Mercedes on the podium, which is pretty damn special, you know. Hoping, you know, other drivers can close in, as Lewis Hamilton has got a fair bit of a lead over Nico Rosberg at this stage of the season, but Lewis Hamilton takes home P2, so we've got a British 1-2 there, with Daniel Ricciardo finishing in P3 there for the Spanish Grand Prix, guys. If you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and like the video as well. I will obviously, as I said guys, be leaving annotations at the end, but still we need to fast forward on. I want to look at Jenson Button's celebration here. As you can see, spraying the champagne. He knows this is a very special win for himself. Hoping, we may be able to take that top step off the podium at some point during the season, but I highly doubt so, as obviously so far we've only been able to score 1 point to finish. And there is Lewis Hamilton and Daniel Ricciardo next to him. As you can see, Jenson Button took the win from P12 there, whether he undercut the AI or whatnot. Lewis Hamilton second, Daniel Ricciardo third, Nico Rosberg just missed out on the podium, but Kimi Raikkonen fifth, Sebastian Vettel sixth, Roman Grosjean there in a very solid 7th place. For Haas, we got Valtteri Bottas in P8, Felipe Massa P9 there, just getting into the points with Nico Hulkenberg as well. Then we got Fernando Alonso in P11, Max Verstappen in P12, so no idea what's happened to that Renault there, as I think obviously we're going to hear it P13 there, but we finished the race in P14, so the Renault there has obviously got a penalty, not sure what that's all about, but as we can see there is me in P13, Esteban Gutierrez there in P14, he actually lost positions in that Grand Prix, not very successful for him. But there is Julian Palmer, and whether he had a penalty or not, it's not saying so. Marcus Ericsson though in 16th, Sergio Perez in a torrid day out there in the end in P17, Pascal Wehrlein 18th, Danny Kvyat 19th, Kevin Magnussen 20th, Rio Haryanto 21st, and obviously Carlos Sainz there not scoring a point in the end. But Julian Palmer got a stop-go penalty for Roman Grosjean there. Not sure what that's all about, but Max Verstappen actually got a warning for a collision with Fernando Alonso there, right near the very end of the race there. So again, not sure what that's all about, but the FIA really dishing out their penalties and warnings here today. But unfortunately guys, we once again do not score a point. Lewis Hamilton now has a 2-point lead over Nico Rosberg at the top, with Sebastian Vettel in 3rd, Kimi Raikkonen 4th, Max Verstappen 5th, Daniel Ricciardo 6th, Valtteri Bottas 7th, Jenson Button after that incredible win now inherits P8, and unfortunately guys, we are still down in P8 of the championship, the final team not to have scored points, but McLaren Honda jumped Force India there guys, obviously quite understandably, as they took home a good haul of points there with Jenson Button's win, 25 points in the bag for McLaren Honda, and they're obviously hoping that they continue this fine form next time out at the Monaco Grand Prix guys. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.